I'm here with a project that I'm going to string up with 8OC beads for 4mm fire polish and a pip, which is a Preciosa check glass that unfortunately has the bad reputation for being a little tricky to load. So I thought that would be the perfect bead to use. The first needle, which is the most common, and this is that people use to load their projects, is a big eye needle, and it's 2.125 millimeters in length. It has sort of double the thickness of a needle, and how you use this is you sort of gently open up the middle, put your S-on through, pull the S-on down, and then start picking up seed beads. Pull them down and through. And you'll see also that there is sort of double the cord when you pull them down. Now, you shouldn't pull the S-on straight out like here from the bottom because it can fray very easily. So it's important to be gentle and sort of pull it back up to the middle and then remove. Also be careful. The tip of this is very, very sharp. So I would, just be careful with that as well. That big eye also comes in a longer version, which is 4.5 millimeter. And that's what it looks like here. I use this one typically when I'm stringing up a large amount of 8OC beads. So we'll string some up and pull them down. And the same principle to move it up to the middle and remove. Now when you are stringing up beads, it's really just a trial and error which needle to use. And it's good to have an arsenal of all the different types. So here's one that I often use when doing check beads, because they have a smaller hole, or some other type of project needs a smaller hole. And this is called a big eye collapsible needle. It's very fine. It only has one thickness of needle that's sort of like a little twisted wire at the end. And then it has a loop, let me show you on the package, a loop at the top that you put your S-on through. So I'm going to show you, now the cord that I'm demonstrating this right now with is a Tex 135. That's the project cord I'm going to use, because I find that using a 210, which I'm going to demonstrate for you later, is really difficult to use with the pips. So I'm going to string it up, and then I'm going to string a couple of pips through. One. It's kind of hard because the end is a little blunt, so I'm going to pick it up and put it on like that. And you pull it down and you see they're going through pretty easy with the Tex 210. And the big eye, and the same principle, pull it down to the middle. It gets a little stuck. There we go. Now for the 210, we're going to use my big eye collapsible, which is already starting to warp a little bit, as you can see. It's, like I said, it's very fine. It only lasts for a certain number of projects, and I go through them pretty fast. All right, so now here's the 210. Now that's the most common type of S-on or C-line cord that is used. I'm going to show you with the big eye collapsible. Let's see if these first 4mm fire polish works. Yeah, they work pretty good. So we'll string them on the 210 with the big eye. Now let's see if the pips work. Okay, there's one, and here's two. Let's see. No, they're not working. They really just don't want to go back, actually past even the tip of the, because you have the double thickness of the cord here. So they don't like that at all. So we're just going to remove them. And we're going to bring this down. Let's hope it didn't get stuck. Okay. Whoop. Okay. And we'll take off the fire polish. Another trick you can use if you know, the big eye isn't working for you, and let's test this out too, is you can use a regular needle with a fire line loop at the end. So what I've done is I've taken, this is actually size 12. I've threaded some 6-pound fire line through, and now I'm just going to make a big old loop with a knot at the end, sort of mimicking the big eye collapsible needle. And then I'm just going to bring the knot down, make sure it's tight. And this is the hard part because you have to make sure you keep the loop plus the knot. I think I got it. And then I'm pulling down the needle a little bit so that the knot is on the side. And I'm probably going to just trim off some of this ends. Okay, so now we've sort of fashioned our own big eye collapsible needle, making sure the knot's on the side. Now, let's see, so that's the regular needle with the only thing about when you make a loop with fire line is it doesn't sort of make the S-line can slip out easier because it's sort of slippery. So let's take here we have the 210. We'll pull that down. You sort of have to hold the S on a little bit while it's in the loop, and then thread up. So here's some fire polish. We're going to thread up, pull down. Let's see if they go through. They're going through pretty good. That's pretty good. Now let's try the pip. Holding on, gonna thread up, pip, let's see if he goes on. See, he's going past the knot, but the problem is getting him, nope, it didn't work. So that's just a bit tricky. You just have to do trial and error. So that's that trick. Another trick that you can use for difficult holes, or even if you don't have a needle. I ran out of needles, and now what do? I just take a little scrap piece of plastic. I take some brush-on glue, and I use crazy glue because it's a little lighter in texture than like a Gorilla Glue. It's a little gloopy, and you don't want too much of this on the end. You want as little as possible, but you want to make it stiff at the same time. So what I do is and I'm just using, this is purple turns into clear, but you don't need to do that. I just like to sort of see what I'm doing. And I sort of dab on the end all around, very, very lightly. And then I'll sort of just dab off a little bit with a paper towel. I'll blow on it. And you have to let it dry a little bit, but I've done the other side already. So here is, let me just make sure this isn't, okay. So here is the other end that I've cut at an angle to make a needle out of the cord. So now we're going to string up through the pip and pull it down. And that works perfectly. And people like to use this even if they don't have difficult holes. They like to use without needles. It's really just your preference. So that's that trick. Some designers also like to use for that to make their needles. There's different products out there. I know Fray Check and several others, but one that I do not recommend you use is the nail polish. It's just too thick, I think, for especially pips. So basically, I think that we've covered everything in terms of how to string up. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask and watch my videos. Thanks.